Mu kaweefube w'okulaba nga tujjako embeera y'obwannakyemalira mu ggwanga Uganda, ebibiina ebivuganya gavumenti bavuddeyo ne bakola olukuŋŋaana mwe bagenda okusalira amagezi okulaba butebe balina okwegobako embeera eno. Bano bagamba nti okwesiba ennyo mu bukulembeze kye kireeseewo okudibaga eggwanga Uganda n'okutuuka mu mbeera gye lirimu olwaleero. Omusomo guno gutegekeddwa Leader of Opposition Mathias Mpuuga Nsamba, gubadde gwetabiddwako abantu ab'enjawulo okuva mu bibiina eby'enjawulo. Gwetabiddwako Dr. Kiza Besigye ono nga munna People's Government, mwetabiddwako Mugisha Muntu owa Anti, kwetabiddwako Jimmy Akena owa UPC n'abalala babadde bangi, nga mu guno ne Oweekitiibwa Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu tegumulese mabega. Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu mu kwogera kwe avuddeyo n'ategeeza abantu bano nti bino byonna babikola byandibadde birungi, naye nga tebannaba kulowooza kukola bintu ebyo. Ekintu ekyandibadde kisookera ddala kwe kulaba butya bwe tusobola okweggyako Mwami Museveni, kubanga ekizibu ky'eggwanga si constitution yeetaaga okukyusibwa olwaleero, wabula yennyini atudde mu ntebe y'eggwanga yalinga ekizibu kya Uganda. Ng'ono kyasaba nti basooke basale amagezi balabe butebe basobola okukwatira awamu ne bamanya nti n'oyo avuddewo. Bo bennyini bajja kuba beetereereza ekintu kyabwe. Abasabye nti baagala wabeerewo akakiiko k'ebyokulonda nga keetengerera nga tekakolera muntu. Baagala wabeerewo media houses nga zeetengerera nga tezifugibwa muntu. Ensi yonna, Uganda yonna erina okubeera nga buli kitongole kyetengeredde, okusinga okwawukana ku kino ekiriwo olwaleero nti buli kitongole kifugibwa muntu omu, si poliisi, si magye, si bitongole biramuzi oba media houses zonna zikontrolingibwa muntu omu nga ye adirectinga abantu abo kukola ye byayagala, so si bo bye bateekeddwa okukola. Kati ono byayagala bisooke bitunulwemu butya bwe birina okutereera ekisobola bitereeza kyokka kulaba nti omuntu oyo bamuggye Mubuyinza, naye yeebuuza bamuggyeemu batya? Tebagenda kukwata mundu nno nti balwanagane naye, nedda. Kyayagala bakwatire wamu babeere omuntu omu ng'ebibiina byonna nga bibadde bakuŋŋaanye. Bwe banaabeera omuntu omu basobola okugatta amaanyi gaabwe ne basindiikiriza omuntu oyo n'ava mu ntebe omwo. Bw'anaava mu ntebe eyo, awo Uganda ejja kuba etereera, kubanga abanaaba bazzeewo baba basobola okukola ebyo byonna ebisobola okutwala Uganda mu maaso ne tufuna Uganda eyawamu ennungi.
The reality that surrounds us, ladies and gentlemen, is important to put in notice. I want to remind all of you, brothers and sisters, that we live under a military dictatorship. It disregards the rule of law. It undermines all institutions of state. It is family rule. I repeat, we live under family rule. We are only allowed to be here today just because the regime does not consider this gathering a serious threat to its main and only objective, and that is staying in power. In terms of democracy, Uganda has gone back to 1973, 50 years ago. Yes, we've gone back to the Amin days. The only difference is that the Idi Amin of today is a little bit smarter, more calculative, and more deceptive. He will allow you to discuss democracy, reforms, and all that, especially if it is away from the masses. But you can be sure, ladies and gentlemen, that all the beautiful ideas that we share do not go beyond these beautiful rooms. We discuss them here, and because the regime feels threatened by them, they usually end here. So that reality should remind all of us that our first and main duty should be removing the Museveni dictatorship. I repeat, those harsh realities that we face should remind us that our main duty and the first duty we should consider is to remove the Museveni dictatorship. But for as long as the dictatorship remains, then we might as well forget about any meaningful reforms. Some of you might say that I present a rather pessimistic image of our situation, but I want to invite all of you to review Uganda's political history since 1986, when General Museveni captured our country by force. For 10 years, until 1996, General Museveni ruled uninterrupted without any elections. And then from 1996 to 2005, he ruled as a leader of a one-party state. Now, this lack of electoral accountability for 20 long years is what set stage for the problems that we are dealing with today. Between 2005 and now, we have witnessed 4 presidential elections under the multi-party system, all of them conducted on a very unleveled playing field in favor of General Museveni and his NRM candidates. Each of those elections has been a sham election, only legitimized by a judicial system that has proven time and again to be part of the problem rather than being a solution. Since 2005, the regime has employed various tactics to suffocate the opposition and to limit the ability of the opposition to engage with the electorate. Opposition candidates and their supporters have been intimidated, they've been arrested, they've been subjected to military violence and murder. Dr. Besigye, who ran against General Museveni 4 times, was repeatedly arrested, physically assaulted, maliciously prosecuted, and his campaign rallies were disrupted by security forces. We all remember that it got even worse when I challenged General Museveni in 2021. The presidential campaign was turned into a war zone. We were tear gassed, we were arrested, beaten, pepper sprayed, shot at, and our supporters were massacred in their hundreds. By election day in 2021, the regime had already switched off the entire internet, banned all media from relaying results live from the field. It also banned any telecenters except one media house, which was used to telecast fake results in favor of General Museveni. From 2021 elections alone, we have more than 100 of our fellow citizens lying in graves after the regime ordered a massacre on the 18th and 19th of November 2020, just 1.5 months away from the general election of 2021. Today, as we speak, hundreds of innocent young men and women are still languishing in prisons just because they identified with us during the election. Needless to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that the abductions of people accused of supporting us is still going on, even as we speak in this beautiful room. So, given that history, I am convinced that this is a battle for the soul of our nation, and this is a battle that we must win. I'll say that one lesson that we have learned from the experiences of those that challenged Museveni before us, and from our own experiences, is that for as long as Museveni regime is in power, Uganda will never experience fair electoral processes or even uphold constitutional governance. Why? Because this regime sustained itself in power by denying its opponents fair political competition. So the first thing to do, and I say this again, the first thing for us to do is to remove the Museveni regime, and only then shall we expect respect for any sensible political discussions. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that the cornerstone of democracy is a constitution that guarantees the rights and freedoms of its citizens. Our constitution should be protected from manipulations and amendments which serve the interests of individuals as opposed to the interests of the nation. Friends, Ugandans yearn for a country where no one is above the law, where the judiciary operates without fear or favor, ensuring that justice is served to everybody. We must change the way our judges are appointed. We must establish a system that can genuinely hold the executive responsible for its actions. Ugandans yearn for a country where there is electoral integrity, where every election is a testament to the will of the people. A country where the voice of the people is respected and where their votes carry the weight of their hopes and their aspirations. We want a country where democracy thrives, where the media is free and is a conduit for the exchange of ideas, fostering a vibrant political discourse that enriches our nation. We must redefine the role of our national security institutions. They should not be used as tools of oppression and suppression. Instead, security forces should be protectors of our democracy, not obstacles to the same. We want an independent electoral commission that is free from political interference. Members of the electoral commission should be selected through a public and impartial process conducted by an independent body. They should be people of demonstrated integrity, committed to upholding democratic principles and values. They should not be appointed by the president. The people of Uganda should be free from intimidation and violence when they go for elections. All forms of intimidation and violence should be condemned and punished. The rights of every voter, regardless of their political affiliation, must be respected and must be protected. I know that even in this room, ladies and gentlemen, this room where we are, I know that we have varying levels of trust amongst us. But I must say this to you today, that we are not here just to pass time or to pretend to be politically mature. We are here because Uganda needs us. We are here because our country is at crossroads. We have a duty, ladies and gentlemen, to collectively give direction because all of us have an equal stake in this, our country. Our country needs us at this defining time, and each of us must honorably and decently play their role.